Skyrim is one of the most popular games of all time, but why? I played over 140 hours of Skyrim in order to find out. In this video, I completed all the quests, including DLC and Anniversary Edition content, and got all the Steam achievements while I was at it. In this video, we'll discuss the quest, the DLC, the combat, and the world building, and at the end, we'll come to a conclusion. Subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this one. Skyrim's main questline is extremely interesting, in theory. You're this thing called a Dragonborn, a human with the blood and soul of a dragon, and apparently one of your kind hasn't been seen for ages. However, there's a problem. Dragons have returned and no one seems to know why. You set out on your journey to find out a reason and put a stop to them, and along the way you find out an ancient dragon named Alduin the World Eater has returned and is ushering in the end of the world, and it's up to you to stop him. Sounds cool, right? However, the reality is the questline is weird. You're in shackles about to be beheaded, then all of a sudden being in the throne room of a local authority warning them about the dragons, then joining his garrison and killing a dragon. You're then the Dragonborn, summoned by a secluded and fabled Greybeard faction, buddying up with the remaining of the Lost Blade factions who fight for the Dragonborn, then infiltrate a high-class party despite nobody knowing who you are, potentially negotiate a peaceful ceasefire to the war, kidnap a dragon, where you fly on it to a Reno temple which happens to have a passage to Sovngarde, the Nordic afterlife, where you kill Alduin. This quest is all over the place. Is it disorganized or nonsensical? No, not really. It's just really fast-paced and odd. The only thing that was extremely off to me was entering into Sovngarde as someone who is not yet dead. This felt like a sacred place that really should only be accessed by death. You have Nords who live their entire existences for the purposes of hoping to enter Sovngarde, and you just kind of walk into it. That being said, the concept is really cool. I enjoy the shouting. I think that some of the quests are really fun. For example, infiltrating the Thalmor Embassy was one of my favorite quests. And I also really enjoyed rediscovering the Skyhaven Temple. I feel that these quests capture why The Elder Scrolls is such a cool series. Rediscovering an ancient abandoned temple and the secrets that are in it. Alongside the quests, cool characters like Partysnax made it really enjoyable to play through. RIP to Partysnax. Yes, I did have to kill him. Anyway, I'm not saying the main quest is bad. I'm just saying it's odd and could have been done better. The Mages Guild or the College of Winterhold is a lot of fun, but it has a problem. You see, the whole entire idea behind the Mages Guild is that it's centered around magic. You enter into an ancient ruins, searching for artifacts, find this giant weird eye sphere thingy, bring it to the college, go to the college's dungeon to talk to some really old guy who leads you to his staff, and kill some Thalmor jerk. Because he sucks. Like all Thalmor. You know, magic things. However, here's the problem. You can do 90% of the Mages Guild without even using magic. If I'm not mistaken, there are only 2 quests that actually require you to use magic. Despite that, the questline is actually really fun. Doing some excavating for relics and finding the Eye of Magnus gets this ancient mage group called the Sigic Order involved, which was a neat portion of the quest. I always find it cool when they include mysterious people, objects, or events into a storyline quest, and Skyrim did it very well with this questline. Speaking of finding mysterious beings, you need to seek out the Augur of Dunlane. This spirit sort of thing is in the dungeons of the college, and you speak to him to look for the Staff of Magnus. It made you ask questions about his identity and purpose within the world, college, and the Midden. Then, of course, you get to cap the questline off by killing a Thalmor, which in my book is the best way to end any quest, because those guys freaking suck. I need to admit, the Mages Guild side quests are not good, because you have to reach level 100 on each of the spell classes in order to do a class-specific quest, and Restoration takes forever to level. I wasted literally like 2 hours just leveling Restoration. If they weren't so tedious, then it wouldn't be so bad. However, they are, and are very time-consuming. The reward for doing them are not equal to the time commitment either. Skyrim's Bard College was short. However, it did have some intriguing and fun elements to it. The bulk of the quests, which there's only like 5, are fetch quests. However, there are 2 quests that are extremely fun to partake in. After retrieving all the instruments and getting King Olaf's verse, you come to find out that it's actually missing some parts to it. The Bards College director was going to present King Olaf's verse to the Queen of Skyrim in order to persuade her to allow the Bards College to continue doing their burning of King Olaf ceremony, which they do as a gesture of how bad King Olaf was. In order to fix this issue, you get to fill in the blank portions of the text. This makes for a lot of fun, as you can make King Olaf out to be a man that can transform into a dragon and slay people, and the Bards College director will even bring you along to present it. Along with this, the burning of the King Olaf festival will be reinstated and you can attend. Going there, they will burn a straw man, play instruments, and even have a buffet line, which I found to be pretty funny. The Bards College was short and realistically could have been a lot better than it ended up being, as evidenced by the Bards College creation mod, which I recommend you check out. Nonetheless, for the length of the questline, I still found it worth doing, and gave me some good laughs to break from the darkness of most of Skyrim. You know, I was going to say the companions were the worst of the guilds, but that actually belongs to the Blades. You rebuild them by recruiting 3 people to fight for them, then you kill a dragon, take its scales, in which you return to Esbern, and that's all the quests. except one. What makes them so bad is not the quest line is short, nor that they are essentially all fetch quests, but because they make you kill Partysnax. Partysnax is an ancient friendly dragon who lives at the throat of the world, which is the highest point on the map. He literally does nothing wrong and is the best character. These guys make you kill him. Want to know the worst part? As you kill him, he doesn't run or fight back. He just takes it and goes, "Yep, I understand. Makes sense to kill me." It's absolutely terrible. I hate the blades. Now let's talk runners up for the worst guild. And if we're only speaking about large scale guilds, then these guys are the worst. The companions are the second worst guilds of all of Skyrim. You join, then you have to do stupid Radiant quest, then you get a fragment of the hammer, do another stupid Radiant quest, you find out the companions are werewolves and become one yourself, you then go all werewolf mode and in the morning hunt down some Silverhand and find out they killed Skjor, do another 2 stupid Radiant quests, then contact the leader goes, "Meh, I don't want to be a werewolf anymore, can you cure me of that?" So you set out to go kill these witches whose heads grant you the power to be able to kill the werewolf spirit, come back and Kodlak is dead. You go hunting the guy who killed him, then you go purify Kodlak of the spirit. Doing all the Radiant quests, you find out Vilkas and Farkas also want to be cured and do get cured. So, basically, you join this place and very quickly 2 out of the 5 interesting characters die. You're gifted with a seemingly amazing gift, which turns out to stink because nobody wants it, and only you and Ayla are left being werewolves. Vilkas and Farkas are boring and dumb or something, and Ayla is dry. Not to mention, 50% of the quest line is Radiant quest. Sorry, Ayla the Huntress fanboys, but the companions suck. I have nothing more to say to them. The Dark Brotherhood, however, is probably the best guild and probably the best storyline in the entire game. Strap in, because I'm going to be talking about this for a minute. You join by accidentally accepting and completing a Dark Brotherhood contract without being a member, and are kidnapped in your sleep by a mysterious individual whose name is Astrid. Astrid tasks you with finding out who of these 3 individuals in front of you has a contract on them, and kill them. You can kill any of them and it'll advance the quest. Alternatively, you can kill Astrid and report the Dark Brotherhood to the Legion and take them all out. However, that is an awful option, as the Dark Brotherhood has some of the best quests in the entire game. Advancing from this quest line initiates you into the Dark Brotherhood Assassins Guild. You gain contracts to kill people, then get told that Cicero, the Jester Assassin, is possibly conspiring against the guild, and you are tasked with spying on him. You hide in the Night Mother's casket, who is kind of like this dead lady who is the leader of the guild through 2 individuals, a listener and a speaker. Cicero comes in and begins expressing his frustration that he speaks to the Night Mother, but she never answers. However, he isn't the listener. The Night Mother then talks to you. This makes you the listener. The casket opens and it frightens Cicero, and you let him know that you are the listener, which makes him excited. Asher learns that Cicero is not a traitor, just a frustrated member. You go and get a contract from a guy named Montier, who tasks you with assassinating the Emperor, but the plan has several layers, starting with assassinating the Emperor's cousin. You come back and tell Astrid, and she gets excited about the future of the guild. You then go and attend the wedding of the Emperor's cousin, Vittoria, and kill her, then escape. Afterwards, you return to speak to Gabrielle, who sends you to kill the commander of the Legion's son and frame him for plotting to kill the Emperor. You return to find out that Cicero has indeed betrayed the Brotherhood, attempting to kill one of the members and fleeing. You find him at another sanctuary, as well as Arnbjorn, a fellow assassin who went to hunt Cicero down, and he was badly wounded, but also notes that Cicero is badly wounded as well. After making your way to him, he notes that the Night Mother won't be happy if you kill him, and you have the choice of letting him live or killing him. I let him live. After doing so, he will leave and won't return. You then continue what you are doing, posing as the Emperor's chef and poisoning his meal. And as you are escaping, you get stopped by Commander Morrow of the Legion. He tells you that that was not the real Emperor, but a decoy, and that someone of our own guild betrayed us and made a deal where he gets you and the Brotherhood gets left alone. However, we killed his son, and now he's going to kill all of us. After you get past the guards, you return to the sanctuary, but it's burning down. After killing the Imperials, you find Astrid on the floor, burnt to a crisp, but still alive. She then tells you she's the one who betrayed the Brotherhood and asks you to kill her, and you do. Then, finally, you track the real Emperor on a boat outside of Solitude, and you kill him, finishing the quest line. I feel as though it's perfect. You have a storyline where you're convinced that Cicero is going to betray the Brotherhood, only to find out that he isn't. He's just frustrated with everybody's lack of respect for the Night Mother. And by the way, he returns to the new sanctuary if you let him live. Anyway, then you are betrayed by the very one who's worried that he might betray you. You are also tasked with killing the Emperor, who escapes by a decoy that you kill instead. And you have to then hunt down the real Emperor and kill him. And Commander Morrow, who you killed the son of, is set on vengeance and makes a false deal with the Brotherhood. Where this guild runs short is the side quests. There's not much to them. Pay money, rebuild the sanctuary, kill a random guy, go treasure hunting, but that's about it. It doesn't really matter though, because the main quest is amazing on its own. The Thieves Guild is fairly similar to the arc of the Brotherhood, but I think it makes a little sense in reality. You join the Thieves Guild by meeting some fellow and assisting him in Riften. Then you collect some debts, then you go steal a deed from a honey farm in order to extort them. You come back with the deed, then are told to go sabotage the Blackbriar Meadery competition. You go to Honeybrew Meadery, poison the mead, and this leads to the owner getting arrested. But someone has been sabotaging the Thieves Guild and you're tasked with finding out who. You chase down an informant who says it's a person named Carlia, who is an ex-Thieves Guild member. You track her down with Mercer, only to find out Carlia is doing it because Mercer Frey, the leader of the Thieves Guild, has been stealing from the thieves this entire time, and she wants to stop it. You break into Mercer's house to find clues of where he's going. You sell your entire soul, even in the afterlife, to Nocturnal, chase Mercer down and kill him, and then you become the leader. While the quest is a pretty good story, the weird part to me is selling your soul to a goddess for the simple task of saving a bunch of ragtag people living in the sewers. It isn't really realistic in my opinion. The Thieves Guild has probably one of the worst quests of all time in it as well. The Stones of Barenziah quest means that you have to go across the entire map of Skyrim collecting all 24 of these Stones of Barenziah. They're just hidden. They would be more fun if they were in cooler places, but they aren't. They're in some of the most boring places in the entire game. While I think the main quest of the Thieves Guild is pretty cool, the part about you selling your soul is really weird, and the Stones of Barenziah was a meh quest. Okay, now let's talk about war. This isn't a War Thunder ad, so don't worry. I'm talking about Skyrim Civil War. Skyrim Civil War is very much one-sided, and I'm not talking about the actual fighting skills of the two sides. You have the Imperial Legion versus the rebellious Stormcloaks. I played both sides of this war quest line, and in my opinion, playing through the Imperials, which is the one I actually ended up doing last, is the most boring option. There isn't really a story arc, you don't unlock any new perspectives, and it's just business. Go here and capture it until you get all of Skyrim. However, the Stormcloaks give you tons of new perspective, and there's even a moment at the end when Galmar and Ulfric, the leader of the Stormcloaks, try and let Rike, an Imperial Nord, go because she's a Nordic native and they don't want to kill her, but she ends up refusing. Being with the Stormcloaks long enough reveals that they might not actually be racist, but rather just confused why someone from another race might want to join a rebellion against the multicultural empire. It's very interesting to me. However, the tasks of the storyline are pretty much identical. Go here and capture it, and there isn't much to them. The Civil War questline is very much one-sided in my opinion, and the Stormcloaks are the clear path for a good story. Skyrim's Daedric quests are very good. Like, really good. They're extremely diverse, from Daedra that seem extremely evil to the point you need to sacrifice a companion or kill a dog, to meh, such as going into a dream world and escaping it or clearing a temple of Draugr. They are diverse in their intensity, but also in their item yield, so you can get swords, various armors, parts, rings, or even an eternal soul gem. You get to join a cannibal coven, drink with a Daedra, and assist in finding artifacts for a museum. And in my opinion, these are definitely some of the most creative quests in all of Skyrim, and I think they did a really good job on them. There's also a couple divine quests in the game, which I think are really unique. You have to go help out a homeless man infiltrate a temple full of women in order to steal a statue, hunt down an ancient tree in order to harvest its sap and restore one of its kind in Whiterun, hunt down various guardian beasts, and even pass out flyers. Okay, yeah, maybe not the pass out flyers one, but the rest of them are really cool and definitely worth checking out on your next run of Skyrim. You want to know how to make a dungeon quest for Skyrim? You go to an ancient Draugr tomb and clear it out. That is like 90% of them, and they are ridiculously boring. I mean, occasionally you get a unique Draugr with extra health or a little gimmick, but it doesn't make it better. They are boring. I don't know why, but I really hate going through the Draugr tombs and clearing them out. It is some of the worst parts of Skyrim in my opinion. I feel as though they almost always look pretty much the same and play out pretty much the same. They're dry, repetitive, and boring. Do you know that about 75% of Skyrim's quests are miscellaneous quests? I didn't know that until I did a complete playthrough. I'm not sure whether or not that's a good thing though. I hadn't really noticed it before, which I guess means it's probably not that big of a deal. But doing a complete playthrough and discovering that, it made me really sad. Most of them are go here and deliver this letter for me. Can you go kill this guy in a cave and get my sword back? I seem to have lost my ring. And a nest, of course, is super deep underground. Think you can get it back for me? It definitely provides a lot for the player to do, and I guess if your goal is just to play casually, then it's fine, but after hours and hours of Skyrim, it just kind of stinks. That being said, there are some really cool random quests for cities and random encounters that are also really exciting. For example, you can learn to purify yourself of vampirism, take down a pirate crew at the East Empire Company, or prevent a wolf queen from being resurrected, then kill her because they ended up being successful. So it isn't all boring. And the miscellaneous quests still do fill up the world with activities to do. Plus they add some backgrounds to random characters you see all the time. I think a good example is Amryn in Whiterun. You catch him in an argument with his wife because he's searching for his father's sword and has no more time for his family. You can talk to him and he'll ask you to retrieve the sword so that he doesn't need to spend any more time worrying about it. That is really nice, and you get to learn more about this miscellaneous character. However, if it was just walking up to Amryn and saying, "Anything I could do for you?" and he replied, "Can you get me this sword? Thanks." That would be pretty awful. They aren't bad. I just think that having them make more sense would be better. All right, let's talk about DLC. The Dawnguard DLC is a masterpiece, and I love it. You join the Dawnguard and hunt vampires only to find out you accidentally released a vampire princess of an ancient vampiric family with special abilities. But you don't need to worry though, she's in her rebellious stage and is having issues with her dad. So she assists you in hunting down an Elder Scroll, which reveals that he is planning to get rid of the sun so that vampires can run free by using Uriel's bow. You hunt down the bow first and use it to kill him. Alternatively, you can join the Dawnguard, release the vampire princess, return to her father, who offers to give you his vampiric lord abilities. You join him, kill the Dawnguard, hunt down the bow, and kill him because he's still a nutcase either way. Whichever side you choose, it's an amazing story. You get to go to the Soul Cairn and you get to go to the Pale, which are both new locations. You get to have a vampire follower, you get to become a vampire lord, which is pretty cool, and expands upon otherwise a pretty underwhelming option of the game. You even get to see one of the ancient snow elves, which is what Falmar are before they were corrupted, and you get to kill one. On top of this, both sides offer great side content. Being a vampire lord is cool, but alternatively, you can get crossbows and armored troll pets or armored puppy pets. Either way, you win. Dawnguard easily is the best Skyrim DLC. The Dragonborn DLC is not as good as Dawnguard, and honestly, may not be as good as the main story. You get ganged up on by some cult members and you kill them, and find out someone sent them who claims you are a false Dragonborn. You chase him down to the island of Solstheim and Morrowind, find out he's been brainwashing people on the island, find his temple, and it turns out he serves Hermaeus Mora, the Daedric Prince of Knowledge, Fate, and Memory, and he is in Hermaeus Mora's realm. This guy's name is Mirak and apparently is also Dragonborn, but has just been chilling with Hermaeus Mora forever. Hermaeus Mora is frustrated with him and thinks that he is weak, and tasks you with challenging him. You learn all the shots you need, enter Hermaeus' realm, track him down, and kill him. Kind of. Actually, Hermaeus Mora kills him and accuses Mirak of conspiring against him. This is another scenario where I feel like the concept is really cool, but not done very well. A lot of the questline is inside Hermaeus Mora's realm, and to be honest, that place sucks. I don't know why, but I really don't like it in there. There are some places in video games that when I enter them, it makes me want to just be like, alright, I think I'm gonna head out. And this is one of those places. I literally just kind of want to turn off the game. Anyway, the questline is pretty short. However, the side content is decent. You get a new house, you can become friends with these little goblin things and hunt down a family of spies. But altogether, there isn't much there either. 80% of the Dragonborn side quest is this weird professor guy in Tel Mithrin, and all of his quests are Radiant quests. This DLC is okay. Cool atmosphere and cool concept, but that's about it. I really like the Hearthfire DLC. It allows creativity to flow. In this DLC, the only thing to do is create your house, and honestly, you're pretty limited on options. You can only choose from 3 locations. It's not like Fallout 4, but rather a bunch of presets that you can choose from. However, I still really like it. It made the game pretty fun for me, having a house I designed with a steward and a bard and some kids. It was a fun experience that brought a little bit of peace and chill at the end of a dungeon crawl. Alright, let's talk about the Anniversary Edition content, and I'm going to be pretty fast in this section. Pretty much all of it is not fun. They're basically all fetch quests without dialogue. Pretty much all of it is not fun. They're basically fetch quests without dialogue. Sometimes they even replace the dialogue with notes, which is just terrible. This is not meant to be a diss to the modders that made them, because several of them are great modders. However, they are severely limited, and this was the result, which stinks, not just for us, but also for the modders as well. I'm not really sure how I should feel about the combat and leveling. On the one hand, I don't like the classless system where your character can literally do anything, and I'm not a huge fan of how you level up. And to be honest, the combat is kind of boring. On the other hand, I'm not really sure of a better replacement system for leveling. And the combat I think is actually really good for a base layer. Keeping it simple allows new users to be drawn into it, and if we had a Dark Souls combat style in the game, honestly, I'm not sure it would be as fun. Not that this should be the standard, but mods really do make the combat whatever you want it to be. I do really like the various standing zone systems. I thought that was fun and unique. I also really like the racial skills. Those are a neat idea as well. I feel like the race-based skills should have been more easily observable though. That being said, there's definitely something wrong with the whole system, and I just can't find a way to fix it well. Skyrim's world building is magnificent. This is probably the best part of Skyrim. The NPCs all having agendas and discussing with one another. The random encounters you'll find on the road, from Thalmor patrols, Imperial escorts, rich people going to a wedding, a lion cat, and an old orc looking for a good fight to end his misery. You also have beautiful landscapes that tell unsaid storylines, as well as the fact that NPCs have new dialogue for different activities that you do in the world. If you join the guilds, a guard might say something about it. When you are a Dragonborn, people will notice. Completing a quest for someone might make them feel more comfortable with you. It really is some of the best world building in gaming, and it's not really seen anymore. So how would I conclude my thoughts? Skyrim, despite its moments, is genuinely an amazing game. A larger game is going to have more negative criticism than a smaller one, but altogether it's an amazing experience. Not to mention that if we're being honest, one of the best parts of Skyrim is the modding community. If I included the impact modding had into this, then there really isn't much competition in the gaming space. However, apart from the modding community, despite its downs, it's a 14-year-old game and still is one of the most popular games of today. Why? Because it has a wide variety of captivating and time-filling quests, tons of cool items to loot, probably the best modding community in gaming, and some of the best world building in gaming. Skyrim is a 10 out of 10 game.